Welcome back to episode 4 of the Unfortunate Diehards podcast. As you can tell, we have relocated to our new studio that may just be in a different house of someone. But
we actually bought a house.
Yeah, thank you for all the support. Smile. But welcome back to the podcast. You boys want to say hello? Tell everyone what's up?
Hello.
And how's it going?
I have nothing to say.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about defensemen. So we're going to talk about Sufi's top 10 list, the NHL's top 20 list. We're also going to be talking about hot takes and each other's teams as well. And then hopefully in the next couple weeks, we'll be coming out with our divisions previews.
Oh, that should be next week.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're getting close to the season now. I didn't realize.
Mm-hmm. And this week, we will be officially launching our Spotify, Apple podcasts, so across all platforms. So if you want to listen to it in the car or while gaming, whatever the heck you want, we'll have it on more platforms.
We'll
and
in your ears
share with
and in your hearts.
So first thing I want to talk about today was something very historic in the NHL happened. It was the first time the Stanley Cup ever went to a mosque, which is really exciting. And I know a lot of people, I think it was in the London area. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're so happy. And it was like such a great moment for, the league that doesn't have a ton of moments similar to that, like with such diversity. And, oh my gosh, did you see that Colorado Avalanche chain worn by Kadri's uncle? That was sick. But I'll pass it over to you, Omar. Seeing that happen somewhere so close to you, how does that make you feel?
That's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting him to do that. It's cool. It's something different that's never happened before. And I feel like it reaches a broader demographic, kind of makes hockey a little bit more appealing to me. Maybe people were at that mosque that didn't really even watch it or weren't really into it, but now they just saw the Stanley Cup there and they saw a Muslim player bring it to a mosque. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty cool. Maybe that makes them follow it a bit more from today onwards.
Yeah, for me, I was telling my girlfriend this, that like it was different because growing up it was like
I was emotional.
Yeah, bro. I was. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me that I cried at that, but like, we're not gonna talk about that. Growing up, it was like me being like the one brown kid on every single team for hockey or baseball or whatever. But I don't think that there's necessarily a lack of want to play for brown kids in hockey and stuff like that, but I feel like in a lot of areas kids are scared to play because they don't look like everyone else, so this kind of just makes it a lot it may give them more confidence to do so, especially if someone that's been playing the NHL for so long brings them shows them that it can be done and you don't have to be white to play hockey. So
not only for like young kids or for kids who are wanting to play, but also like parents who have kids who can take it more seriously in terms of putting them in hockey and maybe making a serious decision there and following it more closely and maybe thinking that, hey, maybe my kid can also make it. It's something that we don't really see, especially in our culture when it comes to sports. And I think the younger generations, as we're getting older and we're having kids, people our age or my age.
A little different here, bro. Come on. You guys don't know, Omer is 40 years old, so.
As people my age are like, I guess, the second generation growing up and actually, growing up with these sports and growing up and now getting married and having their own kids. And,
You're about to say our.
I don't have it.
Dang.
None yet. But yeah, I think it's good to showcase hockey to an entire community that may not be exposed to it as much. And not that they're not even exposed to it, but not be into it as much. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think obviously from a different perspective, but I think I love that a lot of these experiences, whether it's to kids or parents, like you said, and even like, so for example, like working for Bauer and what I do, like they're making events where it's all people of color. So all the kids that sign up for these events where you get hockey and on ice sessions, it's called the first shift. They have events for, people who may feel awkward if it's, like you had said, you were the only not white person on a hockey team. And
you can say brown.
And so it's like, I think welcoming and then seeing this is like a whole other level. And like you said, like inspiring parents, inspiring kids, like not only just in London, but like, on social media, it spreads like wildfire. And so whether it's in Canada, in the US, in countries across Europe, if not other places too, and hoping to see that this happens more and more regularly, this would be a first huge step, sort of, or like a showing of it's totally possible.
Yeah, because the one thing that the NHL or even hockey as a sport in general lacks compared to a sport like basketball, football, even to an extent baseball, especially soccer as well, is the diversity of role models, I guess, for kids. And hockey is a very, I guess, North American, cultural sport where you don't see as much diversity as you see in the NBA. It's like kids who are going to this mosque probably have like an idol in the NBA or a soccer player they love, but when they see a guy who's like maybe from the same area as them, from the same cultural background as them, from the same religion as them, bringing the Stanley Cup to maybe a place they visit regularly at the mosque and a place they go learn and stuff, is it's important to get their interest peaking. Although I think one of the biggest hurdles for hockey still is the cost to play it.
Yeah, I mean that's a different issue, right? But like the thing is, hockey it's a very intimidating sport to go into, because like a lot of the parents of kids that were, say, my generation of hockey, like my parents didn't know anything like to do with playing hockey, whereas those kids that like the majority of kids they go in and like that are white or whatever, like they have people that have like their parents have played hockey for however long. So the thing is now, when we start having kids and stuff like that, we're going to feel more comfortable putting our kids in hockey and be a little less intimidated, because I think it was probably hard for my dad to put me in there as well, not just like me going there personally, because I didn't really care as a kid. It was kind of just everyone was the same, but I know that isn't the same for everyone, right? So, but yeah.
I was going to say, like you'd said, like geographically, some people who may be more familiar with soccer or baseball or whatever it may be, these sports such as baseball, soccer, or basketball, it's very affordable to go to Walmart, get a glove and a ball, or just a soccer ball, or just a basketball, and then you can go play in a park. Whereas hockey, if you're playing ice hockey, is what we're talking about, you need significant equipment a lot of the time, and if you're not familiar with the sport, it's super intimidating, because to throw your kid in something and spend X amount of dollars on all of this stuff and then them not like it, it's a lot easier to put them in a sport where it's more affordable to get started.
Because I think the main sport that kids get into right away at like 4, 5, 6 years old is soccer, right?
It's
a ball.
Easiest one
and
to get into.
grass.
Yeah, easiest one. But with hockey, there's a lot more that goes into it, and it's intimidating to put that kind of investment in there. And maybe your kid doesn't like it, maybe it doesn't work out for them, or maybe it's just something you don't want to do because you're in a position where you can't really afford to do that. I don't know. So that's still the biggest hurdle, in my opinion, for getting more people, especially in more diverse cultures, into. It
costs like, just for house league, you have to pay $600 just to play in the league.
Exactly, and then
on top of equipment,
which is another $600.
So, and then think about it, if your kid gets good, and then your bank account's getting rated like it was Connor, a few $1,000s every year, more than that probably.
Yeah,
and he played high level hockey, so like, I don't know. It's going to be, I don't think the cost is going down anytime soon, right? Like there's going to have to be like programs and stuff to get this stuff started, and I know there's probably a bunch out there, right?
First shift so I work for them, it's $229 for 6 on ice sessions, for head to toe gear, and I think it's an awesome program, and it's across Canada, and they're hoping to expand it into America or even Europe at some point, just to get people from all walks of life and it's essentially, it is a program for people who are new to hockey. Like, there are some people that go when they've played before, but a lot of them, they're brand new to hockey, and it's awesome being a part of that. And I'm really excited. Like, this is such a cool story to talk about, and like I said earlier, like, I hope this becomes a new normal and it can happen to anyone. So I think, like, our message overall is, if you're listening to this, all 8 of you, and are debating on if you want to put your kids in hockey or not because you think it's dangerous or you may not feel included or whatever, like, this just shows, like, you can go so far with it and have such a great time, and no matter where you come from, like, be successful with it and enjoy it. So
put your kids in hockey so they can end up on one of my lists. 20 years.
Sufi's top 10.
Yeah, I'll take over NHL Network.
Well, all right. So we'll move on now to something we talked about before, actually. So we each like a specific team, and I would say each respective team has quite a few good players on it. Mm-hmm. So I'm obviously a Sens fan, Sufi's a Capitals fan, and Omar is a Leafs fan. So if you had to take someone from the other person's team to make your own team better, who would you take? So for me, who would I take from the Capitals to make my team better, and who would I take from the Leafs to make my team better?
Are we considering, like, cap and stuff, or is it just, like, straight up just take the best team?
If you consider cap, I can't.
We'll say no, but be realistic. Don't say, like, I'm gonna take.
Because then I'll just take the 2 best players that are on each team.
Yeah, like, I think be more realistic. Don't say, like, I'm not gonna say Austin Matthews
based on
even though
needs.
he's the best player.
Team needs.
Like, I'm not gonna go take a top 6 forward because Ottawa, I would say they're fine in their top 6.
Yeah, they have a top 32, top 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. So for me, I was thinking from Washington, I would like Dmitry Orlov. So I think the Sens are thinnest on the blue line, especially lacking veterans. Like, they have Nick Holden and Hamonic, who are fine. But, like, I think Orlov, who's probably around 30, 31.
I think he's 30.
A guy who's played years and years and really, really solid defensively, I think would be the perfect, or very similar to a perfect addition for the Senators. Mm-hmm. I think that, he could be a really stable partner for whether it's a Sanderson or JBD. I don't know. That's who just popped into my head, and I thought wasn't outrageous, saying like, "Oh, I want Ovechkin."
For me though, like for Ottawa, for Ottawa's needs, you talk like right-handed defenseman, right?
Yeah, I know. So I didn't want to take John Carlson. But
for me, no, I'm not even saying Carlson. For me, Jensen is just as good as Orlov, and he's shown that in the last couple of years. And he's right-handed. He's mobile. He's really good defensively. I think, like, if I was an Ottawa fan, I would go more that way. He's just a little less known than Orlov is because he doesn't have the through-the-legs goals every year, but he's one of my, like, least concerning defensemen on our team. Like, I don't get mad at him ever, and I do get mad at every other player on our team at least once in the season.
Well, thanks for not agreeing with my pick, but whatever.
Take him.
Omar, do you want to pick someone next?
From the Caps or from the Sens?
Whichever you feel.
From the Caps, I want to say Tom Wilson, kind of.
Let's go.
I think that's a good pick.
Toronto boy.
He kills Toronto every time he plays them.
Yeah.
But he's that, I don't know, he's that kind of guy I think we need, that gritty, in-your-face player, but he can also put up those points. He can play.
He's Wayne Simmons with points.
He's Wayne Simmons with points. Yeah, and younger.
Yeah.
Faster. I think Caps, I would, I mean, I could easily say Ovechkin, he's a winger. We need a winger, actually. But, I mean,
Ovechkin and Matthews?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But that's just, that's just the easy pick. Well, I'll go Tom Wilson from the Caps.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I feel like a lot of people I've seen online say that eventually when Wilson's contract's done, he's going to go there, but we're going to sign him to a lifetime deal. So, what do we need? I don't know. Do you guys have a retirement plan for Nicholas Backstrom?
This is a great bit of just dead air you're making.
I can't think of anyone though. Like,
I just have a perfect team. Like,
no, that's the problem. Like, we have so many little things wrong with us. I'm just trying to pick like a player that's like
complimentary.
Yeah, but now we have a lot of those because that's all we got in free agency because we have so many LTIR guys. You know what? I'll say okay. I'm gonna say Josh Norris from Ottawa because we need ideally a second line center. I like Strome we have now, and I think he's gonna be good. I just think that Norris is better, and I think that Norris would be more of a long-term option. And we need someone else to score goals for us, especially in our top six. Like we have Oshie and Wilson, and they kind of spread out scoring, so we don't really have anyone that has like higher potential than like Ovi. Because if you look at the other top sixes that are on this, like you can rely on Matthews, Marner to score at least 30, Nylander around the same in Toronto. So there's 3 of those guys, and then Ottawa, you have a few of those now as well. You have Norris, DeBrincat, Giroux, Kachuk, I guess. Mm-hmm. Maybe Batherson. So I would take Norris, and he kind of gives the power play a different dynamic as well because everything is kind of on our right side. John Carlson's right-handed, Oshie's right-handed, Ovechkin's right-handed. All of the passes come from that side on the left side to there, and I think that's why our power play has been horrible the last few years. Because they know where the passing lanes are. So if you add Norris, then you have one shot on the other side. It opens it up for everyone. You have Kuznetsov or Backstrom or whatever in the down low, and then more options. I know Ovechkin can pass it as well as anyone too. So
as well as anyone.
Not named Phil Kessel.
What?
I'm just trying to think of a low bar, but he's a great passer too. The thing is, like, I think he's an underrated passer because especially if you have like a wide open lane to whoever on the other side, we just have no one that can take a one-timer on that side. I don't want to see Kuznetsov take a one-timer ever.
Yeah,
he has like the longest wind-up ever, and it goes over the net. So,
are we picking one from each team or just one player?
I was thinking we do maybe one from each if we feel.
Okay, so
so my next one would be, probably another defenseman. Like, I think that's Ottawa's
you want to
biggest.
pick a defenseman from
No, I'm
Toronto?
not saying realistically. Oh, no, from Toronto. But like the thing is, Ottawa's top 9. Ottawa's top 9 is fine for forwards, and I like my goalies better than I like your goalies.
Same.
So
I guess their discrepancy between their best forwards and their bad forwards is a lot. So you can't really pick like a middle forward that you can put on like the Ottawa's third line or whatever.
Well, I like Ottawa's third line.
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be an improvement or like if you got like one of like Toronto's third liners.
Yeah. So
which I don't know who that is.
I think I'd take like TJ Brody, like a veteran guy who like does enough.
He's technically a right defenseman.
Yeah, and he's a right defenseman. So, I mean, mine were very similar. I don't know if you guys are going to go different ways, but maybe Omer needs to pick a goalie.
No, I'm definitely going defenseman from Ottawa.
Who?
Which one? Which one did I choose?
Ooh.
So many good ones.
Travis Hamonic? Like what?
I'm deciding between 2. Chabot is the obvious pick.
But he's just Morgan Rielly.
Exactly.
But better.
That's why I want to go for Zub.
Oh, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me have a Zub moment. This guy, I've watched Sens hockey for over a decade now. He makes so few mistakes, it's ridiculous. Like, and if he does, he makes up for it. He like turns the right way. He like waits the right amount of time. And I know this sounds very like, what would I even say, like simple, like, oh, he turns the right way, but like he just reads plays so gosh darn well. It's like he's the perfect little defenseman. I love him. Like, just such a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I did notice, like when I went to the game, I did notice him, which is hard sometimes with Ottawa
especially
plays.
as a defensive defenseman.
Yeah,
with
to
Ottawa
notice.
When you go to games though, that's when you notice those types of players more, right?
Yeah, you do.
You notice the passers, you know, the defenders more. Like he was different.
You literally see the way they look at the ice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when they're nosebleed all the time. So.
Yeah, it gives you insight into what they're thinking because you see them from the back break the puck out and stuff. You're like, wow, you don't notice this on TV.
What was your thought process when you went to the Leafs playoff game?
I don't want to talk about that.
So Zub, why?
Oh yeah.
From the reasons you said.
Okay.
He's steady. He doesn't make mistakes. And what Leafs really need, and sure, like to an extent, Giordano kind of provides this, and maybe even Brody provides this, but that steady feel to the back end. And like Rielly's good in terms of his, like, you know, he's not bad at breakouts. He's good like with that offensive flair kind of thing, sure, but like that poise in the defensive zone, it's something Leafs have been missing for a long time. We need players with that poise in the zone, just calmness, and they know what they're doing.
It's the young Brian McCabe.
Just gonna move on from that comment.
And Sufi, who would your next pick be?
I don't want anyone from Toronto. Like, your high-end players are, like, too high-end. Like, I mean, I could say... Okay, no.
What do the Caps need?
Is it Ilya Samsonov? No. No. Kallgren. Give us a nice depth goalie.
It's Kallgren.
Kallgren. Give me David Aries.
Oh my god.
I'm just bringing all the PTSD from right now. I mean, I guess I would say, like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, can I say TJ Brody as well?
Sure.
Yeah. He definitely.
But that's not what you need.
It is what we need. Like, we kind of just need like a top 6 defenseman, but he is better than that. Like, he's a top 4, so I could use him. It's just like, because I could say Marner, and then he would replace either
Backstrom.
at center.
Oshie when he hurts his back.
No, as a player in general, whatever.
I mean, I guess, but like, actually, you know what? I'll go Marner. I like Marner.
That's it.
It's a flex.
Well, I said make it like.
Okay, then I'll say. Fine, I'll say Nylander. It's the same difference for me. Like, if either way, it's like we could use like some more depth on the wings or whatever of a high end because our players are older. But that doesn't really seem like that much of a necessity. Maybe I'll take Nylander. Our team needs to get younger and faster, so I'll say Nylander.
And he really goes into those corners and works hard.
We haven't, bro. We have Tom Wilson going into corners. He doesn't need to go into corners. You think Evgeny Kuznetsov goes into corners?
I know.
So yeah, and we have you have Ovechkin and Wilson on the line. Kuznetsov hasn't had to go in a corner for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Because they both do that, and they have like over 150 hits every year. So, but yeah. Give me Ryan Reeves.
So we got 2 TJ Brodies.
2 TJ Brodies?
No, I'll take Nylander.
All right.
It's kind of funny that it is a Toronto defenseman.
You both are choosing Toronto defensemen. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely didn't choose some of them intentionally.
I was thinking Jarrett Hull the whole time.
So something I want to talk about as well is, talking about, teams and what we think of different players and stuff. What can be team or player related would be your hot take for this upcoming season? Do you think a player is going to reach a new point total or be disappointing? Or do you think a team squeaks into the playoffs or dominates the season and you wouldn't have expected? We'll start off with Sufjan.
Florida misses the playoffs.
Is that actually your hot take?
That's my hot take.
Ooh. They
got a new coach again, and it's Paul Morris. I know it's Maurice. He's he's not a bad coach by any means. It's just like this team had such a quick rise to the top, and like a lot of their players that are performing are very random.
Carter Verhaeghe.
Yeah, well, honestly, they're probably good players. It's just I think they were overperforming in that system, and it was a lot of offense that was being had, and their defense did get worse technically, right? Like they lost Uyghur, and I don't trust their goaltending a whole lot either because Bobrovsky's an up and down. Spencer Knight's young. Their offense as a whole is a little less good in my eyes, and now we're gonna see Duclair, Verhaeghe, whoever those other players are. Marchman's gone. That's another.
Duclair is injured for the first while too.
Okay, he's gone too. So and Marchman's gone, who maybe wouldn't have performed again, but he still had a good season last year. But he's another one of those average players that they had that suddenly became above average. This is a hot take because they won the President's Trophy last year.
That's true.
But like, there's a lot of in my eyes, there's a lot of question marks like Forsling, Montour, Duclair's health status now apparently, Sam Bennett.
I mean, they did get Colin White, Michael Del Zotto, and Chris Tierney.
Those aren't inspiring pickups. And I think the reason that I did this is because they got Colin White.
So then, looking at the division here, are you saying Toronto, Tampa, Boston all make playoffs?
They're locks for me.
Who's number 4?
Actually, Boston isn't really a lock. Boston depends on health.
Or who are the guys that are making playoffs then? Like little sneak
I
peek.
could see either 2 Metro teams, or
I could see Ottawa squeezing.
I could see Ottawa or Detroit. One of those 2. I think one of Ottawa or Detroit has to like really go this year. Everything has to click. I think as a full team, I like Detroit's chances better because top to bottom, I feel like they're more whole. Ottawa's high-end offense is a little better.
I feel like Sens are one top 4 D out away from me saying they're lock.
A lock, though.
Well, if they get a top 4 D,
Well, who is that? Because for me, the Chikrin conversations, that doesn't make them a lock for me. Because in my eyes, it doesn't really fit the needs of that
Okay,
team.
let's say hypothetically, like, you know how Mackenzie Weegar's a free agent next year.
Yeah.
Let's say he was a free agent this year and signed with the Sens, hypothetically.
I would say they made the playoffs.
I'm saying they make the
Yeah.
playoffs. Yeah. I honestly think they're a top 4 D away from like being a lock in my mind. Right now, they're.
It just depends on the defenseman.
In my mind,
though.
right now, they're a team that I think could possibly make it. They can squeeze in, but I just I can't call them a lock because I want to see a top 4 D on that.
It's a top 4 D, and then like I don't know how much faith I have in the goaltending with the defensemen they have right now. So we have a top 4 D, and then we're gonna see where the goaltending is at because we need to see what Forsberg actually is because who knows.
Yep.
If he performs like half of what he did last year, then he's a solid 1B. Talbot, consistent.
All-star last year.
Talbot's consistent. I like Talbot. It's just how much of a load is he going to have to take on this year kind of thing. Bottom 6 doesn't have question marks per se. They're just young. And, I mean, we'll see where that ends up. And then the top 6 is top 10, I think. But we'll see when my article comes out next week.
I agree.
So they're one of the teams, and then for me, Detroit is also up there because I just trust Detroit's offense as a whole more, and I like their goaltending better. Defense wise, I think they need someone there.
Yeah.
I think Ottawa. Here's what I think will happen. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs or not. I think it'll be close.
Is this your hot take, by the way, or?
No, this is
Okay.
just something I think will happen in Ottawa this year. I think someone on the right side, or just in general, will get hurt. So let's say Hamonic or Holden or Brandstrom, someone gets hurt, and then Jacob Bernard-Docker or Lassie Thompson will play. And last year when they played a couple games in a row, they looked solid. Like, they could have kept playing if the other players didn't get healthy again. I think one of them plays themselves into a spot throughout the season. Because obviously it doesn't seem like we're getting it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd honestly hope for that rather than have old guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Old
Like,
guys
I think,
fill in kind of thing.
yeah, I think that will happen and is quite likely to happen.
Mhm.
I just don't think they might not just start them in the NHL, but I think halfway through a season I could totally see one of them.
Which is an inherent problem with NHL teams because there's like a lot of young players that probably should get the chance and they don't get it until someone dies. Essentially, it's the same thing with McMichael in Washington. Any sort of advanced stat that you look at, he's by far better than any of the old hags that we had playing in our bottom 6, aka Marcus Johansson, Daniel Sprong, whatever. Sprong's gone now. Still didn't give McMichael a chance. They brought in Johansson to fill that. But I want to see those guys more, like play more and like get more of a chance earlier in the season rather than wait it out until an injury happens because then you're stunting their development and stuff like that, right? Too like Lassie Thompson or JBD could be ready for the NHL right now, but they need to get the chance to do so.
Yeah, what they were talking about last year was JBD, like the coach in Belleville was saying, he plays like an NHL veteran in the AHL. Like he is so steady, just makes right plays, like isn't flashy at all. And then Thompson, I think, had the most minutes per game for Belleville. So I think like getting their feet wet again, starting the season off in the AHL, and then I think one, maybe both even, I don't know, make it to the club this year.
Who is the right side right now?
Zub. Like, if I'm being hopeful with this. So I think
Like,
if
what
you
is it
put
on
Chabot
paper,
and
though?
Zub together, it's a phenomenal pairing.
Yeah.
But I feel like what they're going to do is put Zub with Sanderson to start, just to give him that kind of like extra help, since it's going to be his first game, first however many games, so he doesn't panic or whatever.
I hope they do that.
Yeah, and then I think they'll probably put like Hamonic or something with Chabot to start, and then might change something over time. Then I think they'll do Brandstrom and Holden on the bottom pair, which I think is fine. Like Brandstrom, I don't think needs a ton of minutes. I think he was really good on the power play last year, in my opinion. Like
He's a power play defenseman.
Yeah, he moved it around. I think I was saying this to my dad, better than Chabot did.
Yeah.
Like he created tons on the power play. He didn't always. It wasn't always successful because he was on the second unit. When Chabot was out, he was on the first. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know how exactly they're going to shake out. Similar with the top 6 for Ottawa. Like I think if we're just going off on a Sens right now because I love the Sens. Like the projected second line is Giroux, Stützle, and DeBrincat. That's not very physical at all. So my thought is Tkachuk or Batherson come down. And as well, those 3 guys on that second line, like that's, you don't want, you want like play styles that I guess match up well together. And I think having someone like Batherson or Tkachuk who have a huge frame can go into the corners, create whatever, because both of them are phenomenal passers as well. And then having DeBrincat and Norris on different lines as well, I think benefits you because those are 2 really, really good shooters.
I think Stützle should play with DeBrincat. I don't care who they have on the other side.
Yeah, I just
think that's the
2
most obvious match, though.
Small guys, like
I guess, but the thing is, Stützle. I was doing the fantasy hockey thing. He had like 150 hits or something. It was ridiculous. So I don't think he plays as small as he might think. He might be like thought of as a skill player or whatever, but I don't think that's like, I think play style wise those 2 match up well with each other, and the way they create chances and stuff like that. I think whoever you put on the right side is going to do good with them. I don't even mind if it's Giroux, honestly.
Well, part of me also thinks they might keep Giroux with Stützle instead, because Giroux's a really good face-off guy, and Stützle's very young and struggled at that last year when he was moved to center. So I think they may keep him there as kind of like a reliable guy that maybe on like his offside they'll get Giroux.
That's why I think they should start with that line, though.
Oh, I think they might.
Because that first line is good with each other already, and like I think the size thing is a little overblown. I think you have that luxury, then fair, but like having 3 skill guys on a line isn't necessarily a bad thing.
I think you're going to see a lot of juggling in the first little while.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyways, we can get back to whatever the heck we were talking.
Also, I really hope they don't play Sanderson with like Holden or Hamonic or something. I really hope they don't.
Don't even put that.
Because that's just like
they might be like, put Sanderson with Hamonic for the experience.
Oh yeah, roller coaster.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, I guess.
I'm actually we'll see how training camp pans out for them.
Would you like to go hot take next?
Tuck. My hot take: Austin Matthews scores 70 goals. No, that's not really a hot take.
Very much a hot take.
70?
70.
Do you think he could do that?
Just do it.
No one's done that since Solani?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
it was either Solani or McGill. That one.
Mm-hmm. Bob McKenzie.
Did he?
McGinley.
No, McGinley got 70?
Yeah.
When?
He had like a 76 or something in his rookie season.
Damn, McGinley.
Or one of his seasons.
Okay, my hot take.
You didn't answer. Do you think Matthews can score 70 goals?
I mean, okay.
Yeah, bro. McGinley had a season 76 goals and 51 assists in 77 games. In 92, 93. That's okay.
I do think Matthews can definitely go between 65, 70. Whether he hits 70 or not, that's something else. That's insane, actually. But between 65, 70, like between that number, I think he can hit that.
I don't think he hits 60 next year.
Oh, yeah, he may. Well,
yeah,
but actually, you know what? I think he does hit 60. Get out of here.
It's just no, bro. It's just like teams are gonna play him so differently now. Like,
come on.
I don't think he's a player that's entirely undefendable. I think he will get his 55, maybe even 60 goals. I don't think he's got the potential to ever reach past that.
Yeah, I mean, historically, when a player's at 60, it's never really happened again. Ovechkin and Stamkos. Yeah.
And I don't think he's that much better in his prime than those two were.
Yeah,
I mean, especially Ovechkin.
Ovechkin, yeah, I would say he's decently better than Stamkos in his prime, but whatever. That's a different
I
discussion.
don't know. Stamkos also like broke his leg the next year, so
It's
I don't know.
Twice.
Who knows? Yeah.
That's true, actually, yeah. Okay, my hot take.
Bro, we went off on tangents
Multiple.
there.
This is more like us.
This is more like us, yeah. Well, I think Leafs will win the division, despite our current goalie issues.
That's your hot take?
It's my hot. It's not my hot take, but I'm building.
Oh, that's
towards,
not even your
I'm
hot take?
That's
building-
not your hot take?
I'm building towards my hot take.
Interesting. I would say that as a hot take.
I would also say that's a hot take.
We can call that my hot take because my
Woo!
other hot.
Actually,
hot-
for me,
I
they're
can see it.
either one or two for me. So I guess that's fine.
they're definitely one for me this year.
Definitely?
Definitely.
They're definitely one for me this year.
I don't know. Tampa on paper is significantly better.
I don't care if they're not better on paper. They weren't better in the league last year.
They were
either.
better in the first
Yeah.
round.
They weren't better on paper because half their team was injured for majority of the year. But like
Technically.
with their full offense, full defense, full goaltending, it is a significantly better team.
Nah, I think Leafs are winning a top in the definite.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess them definitively winning the division is a hot take.
And then after that, they're winning the Stanley Cup. But anyway,
Hold on a
that's-
second. Let me.
That's
That's your hot take?
no, it's not. I was just.
Are you just rambling until you
He's
find
just
one?
coming up with a bunch of
I'm
Leafs
just
takes.
rambling. No, but genuinely, I do think Leafs are gonna win the div.
So is that your hot take or not?
It's my hot take.
Okay.
That's not as aggressive as a hot take, but I feel like if we put that up as an argument, people would argue that a lot.
Yeah, but I would like to add one more hot take.
For my fifth hot take.
Mitch Marner gets 170 points.
No, I won't do this Leafs related.
Okay.
There'll be enough discussion about them winning the division. My other hot take. Well, actually, you know what? I kind of said it. No, I didn't say it. I don't think. I do think.
What is this segment?
What is happening?
We can't even talk, but let
Man.
alone stay on track.
Oh man. I feel like there is a very high chance Boston's gonna miss the playoffs.
I can see it.
So I don't think that their veteran. Blah, blah, blah,
I don't care about their veteran
Yeah,
presence, though.
I have a feel. I don't have confidence in Boston this year. I think they have a chance of falling out of the playoffs.
I think them being old is what hurts them. For me, it's just like if all those players are healthy, which I think that's the one thing that's standing in their way. If all their players are healthy, I think they're a more than good enough team to get into the playoffs because their decor and their goaltending was one of the best, if not the best, last year. I think they were the best defensive team in the league last year, and that hasn't changed. Like their players haven't changed in that regard.
But you're also missing, for the first while, two of your best defensemen in McAvoy and Grzelcyk, and then you're also missing Marchand, who does a ton of penalty
How long
killing,
is
etc. for
McAvoy
you.
out?
So if you're missing three of those guys, not saying it's impossible, but I don't know. Like, I'm not like I think they
they
could absolutely make
yeah.
playoffs, or I could see them missing. I'd see them making it over not, but I don't know. Like,
The thing is, they're Boston, and Boston always finds
always
ways.
make the playoffs.
They always, yeah, they find their ways to win. Blah blah blah. But this is the first time in I don't know how many years, 12, 13 years that I going into a season I'm like, ooh, I don't know about Boston.
My thing is, even if they have players missing the first 2 months or whatever, I think that the general core of that team can hold it down for 2 months to a point where they're like maybe 5th, 6th, 4, whatever in the division, and then once those players are back, then they can easily just come back and do just as good. Because if they're missing 2 months of the season, that's like a quarter.
Also, the coaching change. I don't know what's going to happen with that coaching change.
I don't know if that coach it plays more their system than Cassidy did, because that's the Dallas coach and he is all defense.
Yeah.
And the problem with Dallas is they didn't have the offensive depth to circumvent like playing that defensively, but I think Boston does. And let's say for the quarter of the season they finish with like a 500 record or whatever, and then you get Marchand, McAvoy, Grzelcyk, all those players back. If you're 500 for the last like 4 or 5 months of the season, however much time is left, I think they can easily just make the playoffs after that.
I predict they're going to be in the wild card fighting with a few teams.
I can see that just based on them having the 2 months injury.
Yeah.
I just don't see that 2 months affecting them as greatly as maybe you guys do.
All right. Okay.
My hot take. I don't know if this is just because I like some of the players on their team or I went to a game or whatever.
Jets.
Well,
Winnipeg
Winnipeg
is going to be in the top 3 in their division, making the playoffs.
Who's that division?
interesting.
It's a lot of teams that can make the playoffs, like Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Nashville, St. Louis, Winnipeg. I think either Minnesota or Nashville misses.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
I could see Nashville.
I think one of them misses, and I think Winnipeg has a bounce back. They have really good goaltending, really good top 6 forwards. Their
Really,
defense,
really, really bad defense.
Yeah.
their
really.
defense,
It's
I
like
think,
bottom 6.
can't be worse than last year, in my opinion.
It's the same players.
Hey, this is my hot take. I think Winnipeg surprises and like is in a they're not fighting for a playoff spot by the end of the year. They're like they're
But
chilling.
Can I ask you what makes you so confident about Winnipeg?
Here's the thing. I'm not 100% sure why. I just looked at it and I was like, you know what? If that happened, I would not be shocked. I think they have really good forwards. Like, I love their forwards. I think Mark Scheifele's super underrated. I think Pierre-Luc Dubois, Poopy Pants, is a very good player. I love Nikolai Ehlers. He flies around out there. He's so entertaining to watch. I think they have a lot of young players getting better. Like, they have Cole Perfetti. They have Vesalainen.
He's been getting better for years now. I think his time's passed. He's going to be like a bottom 6 forward.
Anyways, I think these guys are only going to add to whatever they had there, and I think they're fed up. They heard a lot of stuff like a lot of backlash and stuff for missing the playoffs. I think it only makes them better and fuel in the fire.
Brendan Dillon, Neil Pionk, Josh Morrissey, Nate Schmidt, Logan Stanley, Dylan DeMello.
Yeah.
Bottom 6, their bottom 6 forwards, Jansen Harkins, Adam Lowry, Mason Appleton, Morgan Barron. I don't even know who these players are. Tony Nato, I've heard because of his name. Vesalainen's mediocre.
Okay, I'll give you.
Because, bro, the only team... Okay, I don't think Minnesota's missing the playoffs. Like, I don't think there's a chance of that. I think Nashville, the only problem with Nashville is that a bunch of their players had breakout seasons in their 30s. Matt Duchene, and then Ryan Johansson had a magical season. Forsberg I can rely on, but that team is a little bit of a question mark. I don't think Yossi's going to get 96 points again, and they have a better goalie out of any of the 3 teams that we mentioned. But I still see them making that over Winnipeg, because Winnipeg's the problem with Winnipeg too is that their horrible defense core is affecting their all-world goalie, and he's already getting tired. And he already had a drop in his stats last year, and now we're hoping that not only does their defense that hasn't changed bounces back, we're hoping that he isn't worn out, and we're hoping that David Riddick.
Yeah, big save Dave.
We're hoping that David Riddick can take some games from Winnipeg or from Hellebuck.
I also don't agree that Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to make that big of a difference. But
Didn't he have like 30 goals, 60 plus points
I think
last year
Dubois
as a two-way center?
I think somehow Dubois. Well, I think we know why Dubois became underrated, and that's because he's a bit of a.
Yeah.
She at least Line is but at least he's likable. He's got a personality. He plays Fortnite. He's chilling.
I mean, those Frenchies, they're something else.
You're
forgot also,
like putting away an entire demographic here. You gotta
No. No,
like
I literally just pumped his tires. I said I really like Pierre-Luc Dubois.
I like Kyle Connor.
Oh, I forgot about Kyle Connor before.
Yeah.
Kyle Connor, the guy who almost scored 50 goals last year, led like top 10 in points.
Their best 4 forwards I like, Blake Wheeler is becoming a non-factor for me, and he's slowing down extremely.
I still love Blake Wheeler.
I like him, bro.
He's such a good captain.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I'm a Blake.
Blake Wheeler is a great captain. Blake Wheeler is like.
I also.
This is something with any American captain.
also
He
Blake-
goes, "Oh my gosh, everyone thinks they're so sick."
Blake Wheeler is like when you remember when Leon Draisaitl was on one leg. He's that speed with worse skills. And everything is just deteriorating about him. Like he did, but his play, he doesn't even play like that anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So, and okay, Perfetti, I don't know what he's gonna be next year, but like the rest of that forward core is just.
I think you have a really good top 6 there still.
I think it's a good top 6.
I think with Scheifele, Connor, and Ehlers together,
it's a good top 6.
It's a
pretty good top.
It's a pretty good top 6.
It's a good top 6. It's in my top half, I would say.
And if you add Dubois in there,
But Perfetti is a question mark. Wheeler is not a question mark. He's old, aging. He is what he is. But
how would you compare their top 6 to right now Ottawa's top 6?
I mean, the Ottawa's top 6 is way better than theirs.
Way better. It's way better.
It's better than theirs. Top to bottom is because for me, DeBrincat and Connor aren't that far apart. And then
what? Well, how many goals did DeBrincat score last year?
DeBrincat was
41. Okay.
Or maybe it's 39, but he's got 241.
It was, and his center was who knows.
Yeah.
Regardless, I think Ottawa's top 6 is better. Way better is me not liking this team. I don't think they're better than Minnesota. I don't think they're better than
Minnesota's top 6.
Minnesota as a team.
Oh,
I don't think they're better than Minnesota either. I do think they're better than Nashville.
I think that if every single one of Nashville's players reverts back,
I can also see Dallas missing. I think one of those
Dallas
three.
is weird.
One of those 3. Dallas is either like they score 7 goals and Ottinger has a shutout, or it's like 6-3 against them.
Dallas has been everyone's pick to miss the playoffs for like 7 years, and they just haven't. And now they've actually gotten pieces to improve. So that's why for me they're going to make the playoffs. And their goalie is also improving. He's young. He's going to be better than most of the goalies that we're talking about in this thing right now.
Doesn't center depth matter? Because if you have...
Are we talking about Winnipeg's?
I'm just looking at your computer. You have Hartman, Eriksson Ek, who's great, and then Frederick Goudreau versus Scheifele, Dubois, and Lowry.
Lowry is a fourth-line center. And I would
argue so is Goudreau probably.
Fair enough. But we're also not only looking at their top 6. They have one of the best defenses in the league in Minnesota, and they have good goaltending. And then they have guys that can score almost 50 goals and 110 points, which is, I guess, similar to Connor. Yeah. But he's not passing 100 points, and he may regress.
I don't know why I went, hey.
And Zuccarello, their offense isn't special, but they have a lot of guys that can contribute, and they have a superstar. But then their defense is
like
just
the Islanders.
No.
I don't think you can put the Jets above
honestly,
the Wild.
Kind of like the Islanders. If you
Islanders,
think about it, they have, like, obviously Kaprizov's better than Barzal, but they have a guy. Then they have a bunch of guys who are good, not great. Like, they're solid. They can do their own thing.
I think
and then they have really good defense.
But they don't, though. Islanders don't, though.
Islanders have one of the best pairings in the league.
Pairings.
Yeah, and they got Romanov and they have Dobson, who are both...
Romanov is not a top 4 defenseman.
But he could play into that role. He's still young.
And
then you literally said the other episode, Sorokin is the best technical goalie.
I said one of the best. Regardless,
makes the statement. Romanov is not top 4 defenseman.
Yeah, I'm just hoping people agree with that. Regardless, for me this is different because all the forwards that you're talking about in the Islanders are like above the age of 32.
Do you not agree that it's kind of similar?
I mean, no, because the Islanders don't have the younger talent that they have in Minnesota.
No, I'm saying how the team is built, not saying in age.
I mean, I guess, but like this is maybe Islanders when they're actually good.
We need to move on.
Are you going to today?
Yes.
Islanders
so
suck.
We're going to start off now after rambling on for like an hour and a half. We're going to go on to... Oh, wait, no. Sorry.
Head to head.
Top 10 list from Sufi. But, really quick, we're going to go over how goofy the NHL's top 20 defenseman list was. My goodness gracious. So the top 20 list from the NHL network is Makar, Hedman, Yossi, Fox, McAvoy, Letang at 6, Ekblad, Taves, John Carlson, Heiskanen, Seider, Hughes, Slavin, Morgan Rielly, Theodore, Werenski, Doughty, Deline, Pietrangelo, and Burns.
Okay, before you say anything, do you know why he's outraged about this list? Who did you not hear?
Can you I zoned out the first half. I didn't hear Chabot. I didn't hear Chabot, by the way.
There, that.
Yeah. Rielly was on there.
Thomas Chabot is not on there, except they have
Chris Letang's at 6.
Deline, Burns, Rielly, Letang, all over him.
Over him is the issue, but I could see Deline being in the top 20. And I guess Letang. Burns, no. Regardless, Chabot is... Do you want me to say mine, though?
Yeah, so
yeah.
I sent this article or picture, whatever, to Sufi, and I was confused about Chabot, but I was like,
and then I sent him mine.
This list is all over the place.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible, and I made this before I saw that list by on purpose, because after I saw the left wingers list, I was like, yeah. And Ovechkin was first on the list, by the way. So I love that list. In my honorable mentions, I have Maurice Seider. I think next year he's probably going to be on this list in the top 10. Morgan Rielly is an honorable mention, and Heiskanen is an honorable mention. 10, I have Chabot. You want to talk about him?
Go ahead. You can talk about him.
He's got really good hands, and he gets overworked. That's essentially what I say about him. John Carlson has somehow become underrated, according to me, because a lot of Caps fans have started to not like him because he can occasionally make like a lapse of judgment or like a bad positioning or whatever. But I think those happen like very few and far between, and a lot of the good things that he does get overshadowed by some of the mistakes. It's kind of the same thing with Uyghur, who also was he on that list?
Nope.
Uyghur is 100% of my top 20 defensemen. Like, yeah. Anyways, 8, I have Devon Taves. He's more than just Makar's partner. In this, on my article, I have like just a 2.5 minute video of him doing defensive plays, and he did all of the defensive work last season, making sure Makar had all the running room to be creative, while also putting up 57 points in 66 games. 57 points in 16 games? No. He's sick. 7, I have Aaron Ekblad. I think he has lost the tag of being like a overrated first overall pick, or like a bust or whatever, because I think in the first like little bit he was kind of seen as that for whatever reason. But I mean, he kind of had the same progression as like a Victor Hedman, and now he's putting up a lot of points, 57 points in 61 games. He needs to stay healthy. I think that's the big thing with him. 6, I have Charlie McAvoy. I absolutely hate playing him, and he has started to put up points now too, 56 points the last year in 78 games, and he's just amazing defensively. He can hit. He's pretty much everything you want in a defenseman, and he's number 6. Jacob Slavin is the best defenseman in the league, and it's like to the point where it can compare to how much impact an offensive player has with how good he plays defense. And on top of that, he's like not horrible offensively. He's a good passer. He's not a black hole like in terms of in the offensive zone and stuff like that. He still put up 42 points. Roman Josi is tough because he went from 38 points to 96.
Did he actually?
Yeah, but it was like in 50 games or whatever the year before. So 96 points is insane. He's not getting 96 points again. He's not getting 23 goals again.
He's getting 97.
Yeah. He is one of the best defensemen in the league. He did draw back a lot defensively last year because of the offensive gains, and it really hurt his offensive or defensive numbers, which was made up for by the defenseman on his team, which helped out with that. 3, I have Adam Fox. Last 2 years, he's been one of the best defensemen in the league. Juan Norris last year. This year was basically the same thing, 74 points in 78 games. underrated defensively. He's not like the biggest guy, so he's not going to be banging you around out there, but he is like the best.
Why'd you say it like
he's one of the best passers in the league, and he just runs that power play so beautifully. And New York power play is a force to be reckoned with if they can get Chris Kreider 52 goals. And a lot of those were deflections off shots or passes by Makar. Victor Hedman. Makar. Adam Fox. Number 2, Victor Hedman. He had 85 points in 82 games last year, which it surprises me. I don't know why. He kind of gained his form again this year. Last year, it was a whole argument between the analytics community and regular people because
regular people.
Yeah, the non-computer people, because every single analytic number was saying that he played horribly or average, while he still put up a decent amount of points. This year, everyone's agreeing again, and we'll just leave it at that. Cale Makar, I could say a lot of things about him that would make a lot of people mad, but he had a very special season last year. He's been very special since coming into the league. Point-a-game defenseman. Defensively, one of the better defensemen in the league defensively. And it's not just because he's like a magical poke checker or a big hitter or whatever. He's like always in position, and if he's out of position, he can get back into position very fast. And everyone saw the highlight of him defending McDavid in the playoffs, I assume.
Just one play.
There's videos of him doing it a lot. So, and for whatever reason, he's really good at reverse hitting. It's just like a thing with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he somehow is one of the best shots in the league as a defenseman, which is kind of scary. But yeah.
Yeah, his shot is crazy.
It's nuts. One thing to note, the highest time on ice in this defense list is Thomas Chabot, who wasn't on the NHL Network list.
Yep. Why would you play a
That's
guy who's
interesting
not
that
in
he
your top 20 defenseman in the world so much? Right?
Oh, Evan's not salty at all.
Dumb.
That's why we're doing defensemen this week.
All right.
Right wingers.
So, now that we've gone over those great lists, or less than great, depending on which one, the head-to-head for today, I thought, was great and was inspired by someone being left off the list.
Okay.
The two people I chose today
Nice.
also involve two of our own teams.
Oh, I know what you're doing.
I'm asking, who's a better player, Thomas Chabot or Morgan Rielly?
Can I ask this?
Well, we all know what you two are going to say. I'm the only outlier here. We all know this head-to-head's easy.
You don't know what I'm going to say. I'm a Caps fan.
Bro, your top 10 list speaks for itself.
Oh, yeah. I guess
And you argued you wouldn't go against your list. Anyways, my question to you is,
true.
pick a player.
You know what I'm thinking.
All right, let's hear
Please
it.
tell me, Omar.
I want to hear you guys first. I'll go last.
Yeah? How about we go Chabot, Rielly, Chabot?
Sure.
Okay, you go first.
Me? So I'm picking Thomas Chabot because I think that Morgan Rielly...
You're saying that with a Matthews jersey above your head? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm picking Thomas Chabot because I think Morgan Rielly is a solid defenseman. He's top 20. I think he is also a beneficiary of being on a very good team. I think that being on a team, especially like a power play unit, for example, with guys who can literally score 100 points a season, with that, which isn't very difficult for them, benefits him a lot points wise. Like, I don't think Morgan Rielly's a guy that you're like, oh, if I'm making an Olympic roster, is he really going to get power play time? Absolutely not. But I think Chabot could. I think Chabot is an elite offensive defenseman. I don't think Rielly is. I think Thomas Chabot, yes, does get overworked, so can make some more lapse of judgment. But also, for years, has had no one to work with. He's played with a million different people, and that's why I would love the Sens to have him play with Zub constantly, because I think that's finally someone who can solidify that pair and let him take the reins more. And I think this season, with a better offensive team, hopefully a bit less minutes, and having a more competent partner, you're going to see him excel and get probably career best in points, hopefully be a plus player, and I think will probably miss less games because he won't have to play so much and hopefully get injured or something. I think Morgan Rielly, like I said, is fine. But I don't think that to me, I don't think, unless you're a biased Leafs fan, you can pick Rielly over Chabot.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it the biased Leafs fans?
Oh, he's hurt.
Okay, who would Thomas Chabot beat out on Team Canada for power play time?
I don't think either of them would play on the power play.
I think Makar's probably on your first unit.
Who would Chabot beat out on the second?
I think Chabot probably on Team Canada. I think Chabot makes it as the 6th or 7th defenseman, and I think Chabot wouldn't play a ton because you have guys like Makar, but he would probably get power play minutes.
Who are Canadian defensemen?
Victor Hedman.
Ekblad, Victor Hedman.
Sweden.
Oh yeah.
Nice. He just pulled a me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ekblad, Makar,
Oh,
Taves.
okay. No, I put Ekblad over him for
Yes.
sure.
I don't
On the
think
power play?
Oh, 100%.
Thomas Chabot does not make Team Canada power play.
No, but they might even have 2 defensemen on the power play.
On that team?
Maybe.
Bro.
Not a chance.
Guys,
They
I'm
might have
saying-
5 forwards on the power
No,
play.
but they might use those guys differently. Like,
I don't know.
Ekblad's a big guy, and he's going to be probably on your top 2 pairings, so you're probably putting him in other situations too.
If they want to divvy up the time, maybe, but for me, Ekblad. on the
Regardless,
power
I
play
think
over.
Chabot makes the Olympic team, and Rielly does not.
I think Rielly would make the Olympic team. I think he was rumored to make the Olympic team.
Yeah,
I
but
think
that's
they both
from
are.
Toronto Sports Network.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Very-
they both
very
were.
unbiased network.
They both were rumored too. I think,
Yeah, Chabot wouldn't play.
but that's
Rielly
more
would
so.
play.
I think that's more so a product of not that many left-handed defensemen, and they're both left-handed defensemen. So it was gonna be either or.
Anyways, go ahead.
Rielly's just better.
I want to hear stats.
Is that your argument? Here, I'll go again. So Sufi sent me these analytic numbers earlier, and Chabot is one of the best puck-moving defensemen. Gets it in zones, create chances.
Oh, hold on. Let me get this out.
Yeah. Sufi can bring this up and talk about it after.
Yeah,
but
analytics wise.
yeah, you can go ahead. Go.
Now we're talking.
Okay. I have to say Rielly because I can't say Chabot, but
Do you want to say Chabot?
I don't want to say Chabot. Hell no.
Do you feel like you should?
I don't know. Then I'm gonna tell everyone.
The NHL clearly agrees with me.
It is their network. It is their network.
Okay, I think Chabot has the size advantage. I do think Chabot has the. I mean, I don't know. I
don't
would
look at Chabot's size and then care about it. Honestly,
Huh?
I don't look at.
6'2", 196.
Yeah, but he still looks like a twig out there. So I don't know.
Yeah, but
He's so athletic.
He-
He is, but he gets pushed off the puck very easily.
but
so I don't know.
yeah, he does exactly.
But so does Rielly. so does Rielly, bro. Neither of these players, I'm looking at their physical stature and being like, oh my god.
Okay,
Rielly
Chabot-
looks like Phil Castle.
Okay, but anyway, Chabot with his size. The reason I use his size is because his size compiled with
Size.
his ability to move the puck and like skate, it's pretty impressive. Yes, he's good at breaking out the puck. I don't know who I put as definitively better in the defensive zone.
Neither.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're going,
I feel like this argument's not going super hot for you.
This is
Let's
Leafs
try.
fan gets owned.
I'm trying to think of an area of the game where I think Rielly overpowers him. It's a little bit difficult.
See, I also thought about making a head-to-head where Sufi and I would disagree because I feel like we're more fiery.
Well, I also don't think this is that close, if I'm being honest.
Do you want to take a break from your little argument?
No, I need to keep going.
Try.
I'm trying my best here.
You want me to pull up some analytics that
Rielly
might be
is
in your favor?
Rielly is better defensively.
Okay.
Just
He's gonna cut everything out in
just
between.
said that for the sake of saying that.
He's gonna cut out everything in between.
Oh my god.
You didn't even sound confident. You should have just said it with chest.
Okay. I struggle with Rielly. I struggle with this one because I like Rielly. Yes, I agree that he's had the benefit of playing with better players. In the last, 5-6 years. Before that, he did not, obviously. But yeah, in the last 5-6 years, he's had the benefit of playing with better players. But can we look at those analytics?
Do you want to? Sufi just showed me.
Can we look at the comparison?
Sufi, just run over them for everyone.
Yeah, and can I see the Chabot?
Okay. Okay, by the way, this is Jay Fresh. I'm trying to get him on the podcast, so we're going to shout him out. His micro stats aren't bad. There's a lot of blue in there. Everything in the defense except for 2 is red, so that's not good.
This is Rielly you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chabot's is better defensively. And offensively, they don't seem to grade out that differently. I'll give you that. It's just his even strength defense is apparently in the 0th percentile last year.
Yeah, Rielly's struggled with his defense.
So yeah. I don't know.
Just run over a couple stats.
Even strength offense, 87 for Chabot, 88 or 86 for Rielly. This is percentile, so this is better than 86% of league. Okay, that's offensive play driving. Defensive play driving. Okay, it's 51% for Chabot and 0 for. This is last year, by the way. Power play, 81 percentile for Rielly, 60 for Chabot. Okay, we'll give him power play. Chabot apparently didn't play that much on the penalty kill.
He doesn't.
Yeah. Rielly is an average penalty killer.
Yeah. Imagine Chabot played penalty kill too. He'd literally reach 30 minutes a game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the yeah. Finishing. Rielly has, but that's also because Chabot's shooting percentage was like 4%.
There's your point. Argue it. He's a better finisher. Go.
Yeah, he is.
One thing that's interesting is Chabot's penalty differential is in the 99th percentile, and Rielly's in the 40th percentile. So it's kind of interesting. Does Rielly take more penalties, do you think, than he draws? I would think so. I guess.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, because technically when you're drawing penalties, you have to be someone that can escape play, and then people have to trip you to get to you. I think that's something Chabot does very well.
Yeah.
I don't think Rielly does that as well. I think Rielly is more of I need to get rid of this puck and then move. So he's not going to draw as many penalties.
Yeah.
And just in general, I think that's a little less desirable of an asset because Chabot, you have a little more security with the puck. Rielly, you don't. But he is a very good passer, so it does help. But teammate-wise, Rielly's in the 85th percentile with who he's playing, where Chabot's in the 77th percentile.
He's better.
Doesn't that mean that Chabot just plays with worse people?
Yes.
Got him!
Yeah.
So, Sufi, who did you choose?
Mine isn't even based off analytics. It's just based off me watching those two play a decent amount. I would still say Chabot. I think Chabot's more dynamic of a player offensively. I think Rielly has desirable offensive traits. He might even be a better passer than Chabot.
Yeah.
Just straight up passer. But I don't think Chabot's a bad passer, and I think that in terms of getting to areas to create scoring chances, I think Chabot does that better. In terms of the ability to use his hands, which I do say is only rivaled by Cale Makar. In terms of just hands, his deking ability as a defenseman.
He has literally every year there's a couple plays. He might never score on them. I think there's only a couple. In the World Juniors, if you ever remember back to when he won Defenseman of the tournament, he scores pretty goals. He has had multiple, I guess, plays. Not all of them end, but
that argument doesn't count. So the same for Bobby Ryan.
No, I know, but I'm just saying I'm
just talking hands here.
pretty defensive.
He's definitely a more flashy player. I think like we're just talking hands here because for me they're not even in the same realm of comparing each other. But in terms of just hands, I would say Rielly or Chabot's close to Makar in that regard. But yeah, like Rielly is like just a really solid guy, and he can move the puck well.
Yeah.
He's dating Tessa Virtue, that gives him points.
Yes.
They might actually be engaged now.
Are they?
I don't know, but that gives him points. That might actually make me pick him over Chabot.
We're a figure skating podcast.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. This isn't really. I think there was. It's hard to compare Chabot to anyone else in that range of players, so I can understand this. But I don't know. I would still take Chabot on my team, even if they were like the same age. I think his peak is going to be better than Rielly's. Rielly's has that one season where he scored that crazy toe drag and he got 20 goals and 70 points. That was prime Rielly.
That was Babcock Rielly.
Yes.
Rielly strived under Babcock. Yeah. Well, for that year anyway.
The thing is, every fantasy article I read the next year, it was like bust pick Morgan Rielly, not going to score 20 goals this year. He had 6 the next year. And I was like, oh.
3 the next year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
What was the next year?
47 games. He had 3 goals.
27 points.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Hey, it's 60. Rielly's stats this year are good. He's top 20 defenseman for sure. I would have him in my top 13. He was in my honorable mention, so I'd have him in my top 13.
Yeah.
He's just I don't know. I don't see that as that much of a comparison. Although apparently the NHL Network doesn't even see that as a comparison in the other direction. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
They know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Any last words you want to say on that argument, or?
Give me okay. I'm gonna just quick here. Chabot or Miro Heiskanen?
I'm just gonna say Chabot because that's what
what
I have to say.
I'm going Heiskanen.
I mean, according to my list, I'm going Chabot.
I think that's really close. The
That's
only
like-
reason I picked this is because I'm petty.
Fair enough. You just wanted to win here.
That's why.
For me, that was like, for me, that's something that was 11-10, but I have him, and I think that drew me to put him in the top 10. If this was Sufi from like not friends with Evan, he would probably put Heiskanen in the top 10, and that might happen in the article without telling Evan, but we'll see. All right.
Well, this has been a very long podcast. Lots of editing for Omer to do. But we want to thank you guys for tuning in again. Hopefully you're listening to this on whatever platform you'd like to. And
Hopefully there's no static.
Yeah, hopefully we've fixed the audio problem as well. And yeah, any other notes before we go, guys?
Check us out on Spotify.
TikTok.
Instagram.
And of course YouTube. Please subscribe and buy YouTube Premium.
My mom hasn't subscribed yet. Still. She said she will, and then she didn't.
I don't think my mom has either, and she said she
My
will.
mom.
And she said she watched. Our moms are the problem right now.
They
Yeah.
really are.
Notifications on, mom.
Yes.
You're not watching right now, probably, but
Yeah,
Mother
cuss
is-
her out. I dare you.
mother clicked off already. No. I don't want any of our moms to hear that.
Excuse me? Yeah, cussing out mommy?
Yeah. Mommy?
Mommy?
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. And
Thank you, guys.
we'll see you next week.